rises back up as well.
That is so good. Absolutely.
So you can have a choice between that.
I mean, that in a Mini, for heaven's sake. That's incredible. The Mini. It's as much of a British icon as fish and chips and the Queen. It was originally designed by Sir Alex Isignis back in the 1950s and started production by the British Motor Corporation in 1959 as the ultimate solution to economical inner city driving. And that's exactly what it's continued to be right up to today. What really shot it into the stratosphere, though, was when it started to win various accolades. It won the Monte Carlo Rally, driven by Paddy Hopkirk, in 1964. It then won it again in 1965, and then won it again in 1967. What really sent it to fame, though, was the 1969 film The Italian Job, where Minis were the actual star of the film. One interesting fact about that movie was the directors actually approached the British Motor Corporation and asked them if they would give them some Minis to use in the film, based on the fact that the film would create massive sales of that car. As it turned out, BMC's directors decided that the only way that the film directors were going to get those cars was to pay the full price, which they actually had to do.
Go! You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off!
The other name, which is of course very much associated now with Mini, is John Cooper Works, based on the original John Cooper Works company in the 60s, who created kits to race tune Minis and get the most out of them. Another interesting fact is that John Cooper actually trained Steve McQueen to drive racing cars. Many iterations of the Mini started to come out. Cars like the Countryman, the Mini Moke, the Mini Clubman, and of course the Mini 1275 GT. But although the Mini brand was sold to BMW, an agreement was made to continue to produce the Mini in the UK, and many of the Mini models are still produced here in the UK. Now, it's been almost 20 years since I've owned a Mini. So when I got a call from my friend Steve to come along and have a look at his ultra modern Mini with all the latest tech on it, I just had to go along and take a look. So what have we got here then, Steve, in terms of this Mini?
2014 Cooper S, 2 litre turbo petrol.
Right, okay.
32,000 miles.
So this is a turbo petrol, yep, as opposed to a turbo diesel.
That's it.
2 litre, which is that's pretty powerful.
It's a big
for
engine.
an engine for a car of this size.
Yeah, 197 brake.
Right, okay.
It's running, so it's completely standard,
wow,
completely stock.
Right.
Yeah, 197 brake, 2 litre turbo petrol, 4-cylinder.
Right.
We've had it 2 years.
Right.
And we've done 15,000 miles in that time.
15,000 miles in it. So
we've had a good run in it.
About 7,500 miles a year then.
That's it. Pretty well optioned as well. So
that's what we want to look at, isn't it? We want to look at this.
We hunted out this spec mainly for the seats. We wanted the satellite grey cream leather seats.
So here we've got these absolutely stunning seats that you would probably find in a top-end BMW or top-end Mercedes. They really are.
So there were 3 things that were a must-have for us when we were choosing the Mini. One was these cream seats, because my partner absolutely loved them and that's what she wanted, so that's what we got. The other was the Media XL package.
Right.
Which is the large sat-nav screen.
Okay, and we're going to have a look at that in a second.
And the third was the LED headlights. So that was the third option that was a must-have for us, was finding a car with the LED headlights, which were an optional extra when they were new, because they're just brilliant.
Yeah.
And you know, night driving, they make all the difference over the standard halogen, and they also make the car look a lot newer than just the standard halogen bulbs.
Yeah. And looking at this as well, we've got this. You got this
So, yeah,
awesome
so-
little venting deck.
Yep, so that's a Cooper S thing, to have the to have this bonnet scoop. Completely fake, doesn't do anything.
Oh,
Doesn't,
okay.
it's just a stylistic
Oh,
choice.
okay.
And this particular car's got these thick dual stripes, which is quite rare. Usually they have thinner stripes that go off at an angle. So when we saw this one, it was quite unique, and being a Mini, you want a unique Mini, I feel.
Yeah.
So those stripes going over the bonnet, and they're also on the boot as well.
Right. Okay.
I haven't seen another one quite like it.
Okay.
So it does stand out.
So, and they do lots of styling, and this is the thing about Mini. Is styling.
You can't get two of the same Minis.
No.
And that's why hunting out one with certain options. So this is a very well spec'd car, and it's got some things on it that I wouldn't have again, but it's also missing things that I would want next time.
Okay. So what wouldn't you have again?
I wouldn't bother with the head-up display unless you're speccing it with the driver assistance pack, which comes with the traffic sign recognition and everything like that, because at the moment the head-up display, all it displays is your speed and your sat-nav directions if you're using the inbuilt sat-nav. So it's not useful, but 95% of the time when it's just displaying your speedo,
Yeah.
and you've got that right in front of you anyway,
Yes.
it's a little bit pointless. It's missing keyless entry. It's got keyless go, but it hasn't got keyless entry.
That's unusual.
It's missing power fold mirrors, which I like. That I like to have power fold mirrors, but it's missing those. And the big one for me is that it's got auto lights and auto wipers, but it hasn't got an auto dimming mirror, a rear mirror.
Oh, right.
So it's a
okay.
manual, flicky, old school style, and
Right.
that twinned with no privacy glass on the back, which I know is an easy rectification. We just haven't done it. But it's got no privacy glass, no rear dimming mirror, and it's quite low down. Driving this at night, it's quite the lights behind you can be quite dazzling and quite blinding.
Chrome finished fuel filler cap there.
Yeah, so that's
really
standard.
nice.
This has also got the John Cooper Works body kit on it.
Right.
So you get the spoiler with that. That's additional to. This is additional to the Cooper S.
Yep.
Also the rear diffuser down here, and it's also got the chrome pack as well.
You've got these
air intake.
they're air intakes. Are they actually proper?
Yeah, they actually
really?
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go all the way in. So
They are proper ones, and they're chrome. They're chromed as well.
yeah, so that was optioned. Boot's pretty small
It is.
because it's a Mini, but you've got underfloor storage there as well, so you can lift
Right.
that up, and you can fold the seats down like that.
Oh, and then you can get a fair bit in it actually.
And even better than that, you can lift this up, place it onto here, and then you
And then
get
that levels
a
the
completely
whole
flat
thing.
floor as well.
How clever!
So it's actually quite a bit
It's
more
quite. I
practical
was going
than
to
the
say
previous
it's
model.
more spacious than you'd actually think. We've got a whole series of lights here. I've noticed at the side of the.
Yeah, so that's your fuel gauge.
Oh, okay.
So obviously we've got 3 bars left, which is under half. Obviously more lights that have
Yeah.
lit up, the more
Wow.
fuel you've got.
Right. So that's a fuel
So we've
gauge
got
at the
that.
side. That's quite neat.
So you've got the Mini XL pack as well, which is the wider screen sat-nav.
Yeah.
Wider screen screen and sat-nav
And that is a
including in that.
beautiful looking screen.
Yeah, it's the
quality.
definition of it is really quite good.
It really is good. That.
And it's all Europe mapping as well. The head-up display.
So this
there
is
as
head-up
well.
display.
So there you go. You can see the head-up display, and you can actually see it displaying the speedo as well.
There you go.
And you can actually, if I press OK here, we can actually cycle through the radio stations as well. So you can actually use the head-up display to cycle through the media and select what you want through there. So it has got some functionality to it, but obviously 95% of the time it is literally just displaying your speed. If you press this button down here, then it just folds itself away into the dash. So you don't
Goodness, that's amazing.
you don't actually have to have it up if you don't want it.
That's incredible.
And then you just flick it up and it rises back up as well.
That is so good. Absolutely.
So you can have a
never
choice
think-
between that.
I mean, that in a Mini, for heaven's sake. That's incredible.
Absolutely.
So then on the steering wheel here, lots of buttons.
Yeah, so you've got your menu buttons. As I said, this one, you've got your volume control for the stereo here, and then your up and your down, which work with the head-up display, as I just showed you. You've got voice commands as well, so there's some basic functionality for that, and that's for answering your phone. And then you've got your cruise control and your speed limiter over there as well. And then on this one, we've also got heated seats, which were an option when it was new, and it's only got one blank switch, which that's a heated front windscreen, which this car doesn't have. And then over here, also an optional extra is the park assist, which includes front parking sensors, and the car can actually park itself.
Wow, well, that's
parallel park itself. Heated seats, that's just a button to maximise the airflow for the front windscreen. Heated rear screen, where the air's coming from, aircon, max AC, and then the driver's heated seat.
And I see that's 3-stage heating as well.
Yeah, for the heated seats. Automatic climate control, which you can override. A bit difficult to see in the sun, but you can change where it's coming from if you press like that, or you can just press auto and let it do its thing. We've got a driftwood, I can't remember what it's called, mini exclusive driftwood trim.
Okay.
Which is actually also a glove box as well up there.
And it's so smooth the way it opens.
It is actually, and the hinge is ridiculously over-engineered for what it is. But yeah, so you've got one glove box there, and then you've got another glove box down there. And that driftwood trim carries on to either side of the steering wheel. So it is a version of BMW's iDrive. It's just lifted out of every other BMW, but given mini graphics. As all newer BMWs as well, with their touch wheel, it's you can touch and draw the letters for the sat-nav screen. So if you wanted a T, you just write on it T, and then it comes up on the screen as well. So that's quite common on the newer BMWs as well.
But what we've got to remember here, this is a Mini.
Yes, we're comparing it to the original Mini as well. But it's got all the tech that a high level 1 Series or even 3 Series would have in it. Really. So you've got all the owner's handbook. You've got a picture search as well. So say there's an issue with the headlights, go to the picture search, headlights, and then it tells you how do my turn indicators work. You engage your steering wheel, you turn the cover, and you can access the turn indicators through this wheel well. So it is a visual guide. There you go, look, there's how to change your headlights. Instead of having an owner's manual book, which I think you do have as well, but it's all in here as well.
Okay.
Along with your services, you don't have a book to stamp anymore. You've just got
amazing
everything on here. So you've got your service history,
unbelievable,
of when every service was done. We've had it always serviced at Mini. That one's in orange because we had it serviced late because of COVID. So we couldn't get it booked in. So it
actually determines if it was done late?
Yeah, and it can, if you press on it, so it was carried out 2 months late. But that was because all the Mini dealers were closed.
Oh my God, so you can literally look at it and see when it was carried out as well.
Yeah. You've got internet if you wanted to pay for the subscription, which we didn't. You've got your office, which just is your contacts and all of that.
Yeah.
Telephone, multimedia, so you've got your Bluetooth streaming, auxiliary in, USB in, and all of that. You've got your DAB radio.
Yeah.
And all your stations for that. So you got pretty much everything you want.
Yeah.
And you got your sat-nav as well.
Sat-nav as well, yeah.
So,
driving mode. What are you changing down here?
So it's just a little toggle.
Yeah. I see, yeah.
Which rattles around like that. So it's in mid mode at the minute. If I slide it to the right, it goes into green mode.
Yeah.
Which just slackens everything off. Throttle response is really restricted. I mean, I'm nearly putting the foot on the floor now and it's barely moving. It's really quite laboured. You also get a green dial up here showing how much fuel you've saved over being on green mode.
Does everything
it can to save fuel. And it also comes up with hints and tips. So you've got your climate settings have been balanced off. You've got your minimalism analyzer, so that tells you your acceleration, your anticipation, your changing of gears, and everything that contributes to you gaining extra fuel. So it's all designed to help you save fuel, which in a 2-litre petrol.
And it's obviously giving you a lot of information here: acceleration, anticipation.
Yeah.
And
it does work. Green mode on a day-to-day basis genuinely does work. You can increase your miles to the gallon from about 40 up to about 45, 46. And then if you slide it back to the left, so although it looks like we're going to sport, we're actually just going to the middle mode, which is how you just drive it normally. That's all the settings, just completely
so it's
as
turned
normal.
the aircon back on.
Yeah, back up to its normal power.
Yeah.
And
it's that halfway house between comfort and economy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just the normal default position. So if I put the car into sport mode now, I'm not moving.
You're pressing sport.
I'm not moving my foot on the accelerator, but it surges forwards.
Yeah,
and you can see on here. If I press that, you get your sports dials up. So if we knock it down and speed up.
And it sounds incredible.
You can see what the engine's producing at the time.
So at the moment, that's glowing blue around the outside there.
Yes.
So why is it blue? What's the colour coding?
So we're on. We've got the general mood lighting at the minute, which you can change with this switch here. Right. So you can change the colours and cycle through.
Oh, I see. Right. So you're changing the colours.
Actually, if I press and hold that, what it should do is cycle through all of them.
So at the moment it's just mood lighting. You just
so you can select whichever colour on it, and now I've let go. See, this is called disco mode.
So it's just going to keep changing colour all day.
So that's one function for it, but it also tells you a lot of what's going on in the car. So, for instance, if I change the temperature, you'll see it changes and it moves along with where the dial is. Can you see that?
Right, yeah, I can.
So it corresponds.
So you're
to the
moving
temperature.
towards cold or hot, depending on which rotation.
And then with the parking sensors, when you get slightly closer, the lines get closer together, closer to the top to signify the distance. So I'm going to stop in here, and I take the stop.
Oh, it's gone red.
So the stop start.
Yeah.
It shows that the engine's ready. Now if I put my foot on its clutch to make it start again, the green lines join up at the top.
So it really is acting as a very, very strong visual.
Yeah, and I can change the volume.
So the sound now is like prinks are out.
Yeah,
you're not
along with that.
Prinks.
And actually, if I go into the settings, I can actually have that as the rev counter. So the lights change and go
as
up
the revs go up.
It's on ambient lighting at the minute. If we go to engine speed, it's changed to the tachometer. And you can see as the rev rise. If I drop it down to second, you can see it.
Oh yes,
so to the red line, which is now around here.
It's really anything where you're adjusting the intensity of something, such as the temperature of the car, the fan speed, the engine revs. All of those things can be reflected in how this dial on the outer side here works.
Yep.
That's amazing. So we're going to try a standing start with it, just to see what it's like. Yep. Goodness, that is quick. That is pretty quick. I mean, I don't know. We don't know what the 0 to 60 is. What do you know? What this?
It's in the 6s.
Oh wow, there you go. That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great road to try it on. Look at this. It'd be interesting to get on the dash here, seeing what the power's doing. That's more like it. There we go. Now Steve's in sport mode, driving excitement mode is on. We can see, as you were saying earlier, it rev matches automatically.
So downshifts are really smooth.
He's going to try and downshift. There we go. Oh my god, I'm trying to...
From 4th to 3rd, you don't even feel it. And it pops and bangs, did you hear that?
Here's how you hear it popping and banging. We get the windows down. an upgraded exhaust on this that would emphasise those pops and bangs, that would be pretty damned awesome.
Be mega, wouldn't it?
I think it would. You need an Acropovic exhaust putting on it. With all those. I noticed the driver excitement dials are near the top, and I can understand why. We're trying it now on a motorway to see what it's like. I will show you some pictures in a minute of the dashboard, which is showing the sat nav, which is pretty good. In fact, it's not just pretty good; it's amazing. The sat nav, the detail, the quality. Now we're testing the actual sat nav for real. We're driving down to London at the moment. It's absolutely bonkers. It's really high quality. In fact, I'd say that's as high quality as your one that you've installed in the car.
Well, it's higher, I'd say, especially the sat nav, because the RAM memory in the sat nav means it's smooth. The operation of the pointer moving on the map, you can see it's smooth, rather than on the BMW. On the standard sat nav, at least, it judders. It does it in increments.
Yes.
So it is a lot better quality than my generation BMW.
I'm just gobsmacked by it. You have got the traditional or ideal motorway driving features.
Yes.
Speed limiter, cruise control. It's all on there.
It is. Yes.
So in actual fact.
And the head-up display as well.
And you've got a head-up display, yes.
For your sat-nav and what speed you're doing.
There you go. So actually, as a motorway car,
it's not bad.
It has got the functionality you would expect on a top-end Mercedes.
Yes.
Doing 70 miles an hour, cruising along, and it's, for me, it's really comfortable.
Yeah, I'd say it's a firm ride, but a comfortable ride at the same time. It's not tiring. The seats are supportive. We've been on the road an hour now. I don't need a break.
No.
Over really rough surfaces, you do notice you're bouncing around a little bit, but compared to the Fiesta ST, it's much more sophisticated.
Yes.
The
one thing I've noticed, though, I have to say, for me, is there is a bit of road noise.
Yes.
Through the tyres.
Yes. So the tyres they're not run flats, they're standard tyres, but still, you're right, there is quite a lot of road noise. Yeah. And with the buff windscreen as well, it's quite steep. That doesn't help things.
Yes.
So
the wind noise off the windscreen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The actual refinement could be slightly better, but then it is a small car as well. But if you're putting it in a hot hatch category, so like the Fiesta ST, so I had two of those, and I did a total of nearly 30,000 miles across the two of them.
Yeah.
So I'm well accustomed to those, and this is a much better all-rounder. It's a much better day-to-day vehicle. It's not as good, and I don't like it as much. Yeah. But it's as a package, it's more rounded than the Fiesta.
The Fiesta, yeah, and it is. And I have to say, with all the technology it's got on it, it's amazing.
Again, compared to the Fiesta of the same year, leaps and bounds ahead of it. Absolutely,
and you've got
way beyond.
In fact, one thing I was going to ask you, Steve, while I think about it, is can we pop to the toilet on I just need to go to the service.